All right, here are the answers. Both of these are actually chloroplast, and they summarize photosynthesis. The light reactions occur in the thylakoids. They're also known as light-dependent reactions, and that's what these little stacks, that look like stacks of pancakes, I guess, are the thylakoids. And so, since they're the light-dependent reactions, this symbol represents light, right? And so, yes, these right here, we can just call them the light-dependent reactions, right? Dependent reactions, and then that's what these. That's what you would write in there. The things that go into the thylakoids or the light-dependent reactions is water, right? And when water comes in to the thylakoids, so they get energized by light, and it splits. And what happens is the chlorophyll gets excited, and some electrons come off of chlorophyll, and then they get replaced by the electrons from water. And when you do that, water gets split into hydrogen and oxygen, and the two oxygens come together, and they combine to form oxygen gas. And so when that happens, right, that energy that's in those electrons kind of move down these proteins called the electron transport chain within this thylakoid, and they pump protons into this space right here, and as they come out, that energy is used to make ATP. Makes a little bit of ATP. And so what happens is that energy turns ADP, right, the uncharged battery, right, and it adds a phosphate in this little ATP synthase enzyme and makes ATP. And so the NADP plus molecule is an electron carrier molecule, and so those electrons that are moving down the chain, they have to end up somewhere, and they end up on NADP plus. Well, when the electrons bond to NADP plus, that molecule is no longer called NADP plus, it's called NADPH. And NADPH, right, which has the electron, is a much higher energy molecule than NADP plus. So it's NADPH. Right, and so that's that. And so let's review real quick. So these are the light-dependent reactions because they require light to occur. Water comes into the plant cell, and it gets electrons ripped off of it, and then the two water molecules can create one molecule of oxygen gas. All that energy that comes from the light actually gets stored in these two molecules. And so really the purpose of this chemical reaction is to make these two molecules. They are like charged battery. They're energy carriers. And so they are actually carrying energy into a set of chemical reactions that occur inside of the stroma called the light independent reactions. I usually have something that I write on this, but I don't have that. Right? So I'm just doing that. Light independent reactions. Right? That's what these are. Right here. That's what's going on in what's called the stroma. Now, there's another name for the light independent reactions, and that is the Calvin cycle. Named after the scientist who studied it and discovered it. So this is the cycle. The Calvin cycle, right there. So what goes into the Calvin cycle? What is the purpose of the Calvin cycle? Well, the Calvin cycle's job is to take carbon dioxide gas out of the atmosphere, right? It takes the energy from these molecules, which originally came from the sun, so the energy gets dumped onto the carbon dioxide gas, and a set of chemical reactions turn 3 molecules of carbon dioxide gas into a 3-carbon sugar. So the Calvin cycle happens twice, and you end up making 1 molecule of sugar, called glucose. So what goes into photosynthesis is water and carbon dioxide gas. What comes out is oxygen gas and glucose. Now, when the energy gets dumped off to the Calvin cycle, the ATP turns back into its uncharged battery form, which is ADP, and then the NADPH, since it's an electron carrier, dumps off its electron. It's no longer carrying an electron, so it's back to its original form. So these guys kind of stay within the chloroplast and just go back and forth, picking up energy and dropping it off, picking up energy and dropping it off, picking up from the light-dependent reactions, dropping it off to the Calvin cycle. Right? So just kind of double checking, right? That's what this shows right here. That would be light. That would be the thylakoid stack. A whole stack is called a granum, but each, like all 4 of these, we refer to as a granum. One of these is a thylakoid. That's where the light-dependent reactions happen. It comes out as oxygen gas. These are the Calvin cycle or light-independent reactions. What comes out of here is a molecule of sugar or glucose.